Hello everybody, Andrew Hutchings here, still not a licensed physician and never giving medical advice. It's just educational and entertainment. This video is what is my number one concern about human growth hormone. Very cool stuff. It would be awesome to be able to use all the time. But there's one thing that does concern me quite a bit. So human growth hormone causes cells to split into two. Cells cannot split infinitely. Cells have a certain number of times they can divide before they are programmed to kill themselves or to have the body kill them. So that's a big issue because say your cells normally, first of all, the issue is we don't know how long your cells can divide compared to your lifespan. So say your cells normally can divide as long as you're going to live. The time is just matched up. So you're going to live 90 years and your cells have about 90 years of division in them. That's great, that's fine. It means that they serve their purpose. But what if they only divided for 80 years, but you're going to live 90 years? That's a big issue. It means that you're going to be alive for 10 years with your body falling apart. And you might die early. But what if those cells have the ability to divide for 100 years and you're only going to live 90 years? Well, that's great. It means that even if somehow you live a little bit longer, your cells are all still good. And I am looking very bad in this lighting. But a little bit better now. I went on vacation for a week. It didn't work out. But also I am kind of fat. Yeah, that's the issue with human growth hormone is we don't know how long your cells have that they can divide, and we don't know how much the human growth hormone is going to shorten that. There may be studies on cell cultures that show that human growth hormone is going to make them divide 30% faster or something. But even if there are studies on cell cultures, we don't have enough information to know whether human growth hormone is going to lead to your cells exhausting their division potential before your natural end of lifespan. Now, what would be really awesome, and someday I'm going to work on doing it, is to give the cells the right chemical environment, plus the human growth hormone, that's part of the chemical environment, that not only do they divide more faster, but they don't stop dividing. Now that can cause issues like cancer, but that's why other things are going to be needed to be done. Just need to prevent damage to the genome, and they should be able to keep dividing and dividing and dividing without causing cancer. Because that would be very awesome if we could ramp up the division rate and also increase the lifespan of how many divisions they can do. Because then you could be youthful longer. I mean, human growth hormone can still allow you to be youthful longer, but then afterwards you might become extra old faster, depending on whether the cells are going to exhaust their division potential while you're still alive or not. So I hope this brought some new insights into human growth hormone, because I've had, depends on how many people you consider many, I've had a good number of people that have tried human growth hormone tell me how amazing it is, how their skin was rejuvenated, even their hair would come in better, that they just were glowing with energy, and it's like the fountain of youth. I've heard the same thing from several people. One person was 45, the other was 30 to 30. I mean, he used it for a few years, but early 30s. Another person, probably 47, I don't know, somewhere late 40s. But yeah, everyone says the same things. But I have been told by one person that doesn't matter as much until you're over 30. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully it's not true. Hopefully it doesn't matter until you're over 40 or over 50, but yeah. I said hopefully it's true because I'd like to imagine that I have tons of human growth hormone right now. Who knows if I do, who knows if I don't. I used to think that I had high testosterone, probably. I mean, you probably wouldn't think so based on how I look in this video, but based on Instagram pictures, you could think so, and based on real life, I would think so. But it turns out that I have somewhat low testosterone. Honestly, I have not looked much into pomegranate juice, but considering that it tastes good and it's healthy, I figured why not get pomegranate juice in case it'll increase my testosterone a little bit. It doesn't hurt, so it can only help. And I like drinking it anyways. So the other day I actually read one study. Of course, you want to read more than one because one study doesn't necessarily mean anything. You want to make sure there's a bunch of studies in confluence with each other. One study can mean something, but you don't necessarily know. Might have just been a study that got weird random results, but when you see like 10 studies that all say the same thing, higher chance that it's actually going to happen. But this one study showed that this medication, I can't remember the name of it, it's a peptide that lengthens telomeres on the end of DNA. Telomeres are the ends on the DNA that once they get broken down too much, DNA starts getting damaged. They're like timing mechanisms and protecting caps. So they protect the DNA ends, but they're also like timing mechanisms because once they break down too much, the cells don't want to let the DNA break down, so they kill the cells. However you're gonna imagine the cells getting killed. So if you can lengthen the telomeres, the cells, by that mechanism, will not be triggered to be killed as soon. Why I said by that mechanism is the body always has redundant ways of doing things. It would be incredibly stupid and irresponsible to send a rocket ship up to space and have it so that if one thing fails, the whole thing is just going to blow up or fall out of the sky. Of course, you make redundant mechanisms so that if one thing fails, this other one's going to still work. And like if there's a missile coming towards you and you have all the resources in the world, optimally you're not going to just try shooting it like one time, and if you miss, oops, it's still going to come blow me up. You would want to be able to shoot, miss, then have a fighter jet come and blow it up if you miss, and if the fighter jet accidentally gets hit by a meteor, you still have a blast shell, a bunker over you, you're underneath the ground. Redundancy. Because you can never count on something not to fail. It's just like when you have a gun. You don't count on the safety to actually work. It's gonna work in all likelihood. But that's why you don't just walk around with your finger on the trigger while you're walking and like accidentally shoot your leg, and that wouldn't be very fun. I mean, you can always walk around with your finger on the trigger, just make sure you don't pull your finger, but you never know. You might accidentally slip and then your finger gets pulled and at the same time your arm gets bent. Now you got a bullet in your leg. So the body is also like that. Even if you can keep the telomeres from shortening, it may increase the lifespan of the cell, or it may not. It depends on where those other redundant mechanisms are going to kick in. If they kick in exactly where the cell would have normally died, then you get no extension of lifespan. Now, if you keep the telomeres longer, and it takes a while for the body to go, hey, this isn't right, but you already cranked out 20% more lifespan before those redundant mechanisms kick in, you just got 20% more lifespan of the cells. So what you want to do is block the telomere shortening, find out the other mechanisms of controlling it and block those also, and make sure that you limit other harmful things that are going to damage the DNA, because if you're letting the DNA go on living longer, it's going to have more probability, because it's alive longer, of accumulating damage, which can cause cellular dysfunction, and the big one would be cancer. So yeah, you gotta not only block all the mechanisms of terminating the cells, but block the various ways in which they get damaged, because they were damaged as really bad as if you get cancer. So I hope you like this video. Just to go back to HGH, because it got a little off topic. So maybe I'll give this video like a two-part title. HGH causes cells to divide, but cells can only divide so many times. So if they divide too much too quickly, they may exhaust their division potential while you're still alive. And then you'd be like an old person with their skin. I mean, that's not all. I can't say exactly what you'd look like, because we need to do study to know that for sure, but you would not look too good, because like your body would be getting old and not replenishing itself. You'd get cuts that wouldn't heal too well. But skin cells, they have very long lifespans, so it would be other cells that probably end up at the end of their lifespan. So maybe your muscle and skin would still do okay, but other things, I'm not sure which cells have the shortest lifespans, division potentials, but they would get exhausted, and then you'd get very poor function of organs, and it wouldn't be fun. Hope you like this video. Check out my other videos. I probably got about 410 by now, so scroll through them and use the search function if you want. My website is andrewhutchings.org. In fact, this evening, in approximately 6 hours, I should be finishing my website, and someone will show me how I can maintain it for the future. I need to also lose weight, because I do not like seeing myself look out of shape on camera, even though I look pretty good in person, but I still should lose some weight. I've only been fatter than this one time in my life. I've got like that, when I squeeze here. This is how I measure my fat, but I don't want to point the camera. I do this, but down here. And yeah, my website is andrewhutchings.org. You can hire me for consultations on there, or buy my book. I will hopefully get my book published very soon. First, I want to finish my website, then I'll do a book. Honestly, I took a break from all this stuff and just forgot about it. I mean, I didn't forget about it, but I just enjoyed life and didn't care too much about it, because life is about enjoying life. And in case anyone thought that I only am publishing my book because I want to make money, no, I'm actually largely publishing it just because I want to have a book published. I mean, I wrote the book, may as well have it published. And I wrote the book partially because I wanted to write a book and can put, like, it starts from the ground and works your way to the end or the top or whatever. So it's like I could tell somebody the whole book in like 5 minutes, but if you don't have the foundation of knowledge, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense, but you wouldn't really understand how it all works. So my book teaches you how it works, because that's important. Too many people just go to school and they memorize stuff and they don't understand how anything actually works. Now, I'm not saying that my book is going to teach you every single little detail of the molecular structure of tendons and stuff, but it's going to... I chose the optimal amount of information to length, because I don't want to make a novel on tendons, and I don't want to just tell you it does this and you don't understand anything. So I decided how much information to give you. Yeah, it's an amazing book. I also made it because it's going to help a lot of people. So yeah, it's not all about money, but I will be happy when I make money from it, because I do need money. I don't have a super excess of money, so that will be very nice. My Instagram is natural_true_fitness, where you can see photos of me with good camera angle, with good lighting. I mean, this isn't bad lighting. It's pretty decent. Not the best. I mean, it's a pretty decent camera angle. I mean, I'm not going to pick the absolute worst camera angle to put my phone on, but I don't purposely, like, I only just try to put my phone somewhere around head height. It's on a coffee maker. I mean, I wouldn't put it on the floor and look down. I mean, maybe I can do a video like that. And anything interesting I could say in this video? I got a beer mug or cup, whatever you call them, from Brest, Belarus. It was handmade by a woman. Brest is where the Germans made first contact with the Soviet Union. That's how I titled it in a picture of mine. Then I realized, well, that sounds kind of like they're exploring an alien planet and they just met aliens. But actually, they were killing the Polish people and Belarusian people and Russian people there. They weren't making first contact and like saying hello, nice to meet you. Yeah, that's where they first started killing the people in the Soviet Union. And they did extermination. I mean, I guess it wasn't really. I would call it extermination campaign in Belarus, where I am now, because that's where the Einsatzgruppen did a lot of their stuff, like, you know, putting people in their houses and lighting them on fire. Yeah, they didn't do that everywhere, but they did it in Belarus. It's a shame. They didn't do it in Ukraine. They didn't do it in Denmark. But they did it in Belarus. So yeah, lots of people here died. But Brest Fortress was nice to see. It's interesting to see, like, they had walls about this, like a meter thick of brick. But even 80 years ago, almost 100 years ago, meter thick brick walls were not strong enough. It just makes you think, like, I mean, I've already realized this, like today, even if you made the best bunker that you could make as a civilian and like non-ultra rich person, we're still going to be screwed if there's a big war. Even non-nuclear weapons. I mean, say you have a lot of money. Say you make I'll try to be. Say you make $400,000 a year. So you're wealthy. You're not ultra rich. Probably no bunker you can make is going to actually protect you against high-tech weaponry. Scary. So I guess the trick is to be somewhere where no one's going to think to directly hit. That way, if you're not directly hit, you can survive. And if there's nuclear war, probably want to be in northern Idaho. As long as no one's going to do a direct hit there, because the mountains make the wind go around them, not so you wouldn't get as much nuclear wind. But that's getting off topic. Good hand signal, because if there's peace, we don't get blown up by nuclear weapons.